श्रीमद्भागवतं नाम पुराणं लोकविश्रुतं शृणुयात् श्रद्धया युक्तः मम सन्तोषकारणम्। नमस्तस्मै भगवते वासुदेवाय वेदसे वपुज्ञानमयं सौम्य यन्मुखाम्बुरुहासवम्। वेदाहमेतं पुरुषं महान्तम् आदित्यवर्णं तपसः परस्तात् तमेवं विद्वानमृत इह भवति नान्यपन्थाः अयनाय विद्यते। प्रजापतिः शरति गर्भे अन्तः अजायमानो बहुधा विजायते। अजायमानो बहुधा विजायते. The Vedas declare the one unborn takes countless manifestations. Ajayamano bahudha vijayate. Why does he repeatedly take avatars? One may ask. In order to sustain his creation and ensure there is order. We have been relishing the conversation between Narada and Brahma, where Brahma, after answering Narada's 5 questions, Yad Rupam, Yad Adhishthanam, Yad Srishtam, Yad Param, Yad Cha, he begins to answer the question, Yat Samstam. How does Bhagavan maintain order in his creation? How does he support and sustain this created world? And how does he support all the living entities and ensures that dharma prevails? Dharma, as we saw, is nothing but alignment with universal order. Alignment with the laws of the lawmaker. And Brahma gives a comprehensive list of various avatars, a summary of summaries. And these avatars go on to become the subject matter of Bhagavatam. Every avatara that Brahma summarizes will be discussed and relished in detail. Brahma begins with the avatar of the Yajna Purusha Varaha, who corrected the disorder of greed and established order in creation by restoring abundance to Mother Earth. He then takes the avatar of Suyagnya, son of Prajapati Ruchi and Akuti, in order to establish order across all the lokas and demonstrate the role of an administrator, the role of Indra. Then he takes Kapilavatara and shows how to overcome attachments to this material world. Teaches us how not just to count the tattvas, but go beyond counting to connecting with the ruler of the tattvas. He then takes the avatar of Dattatreya in order to teach how one should not pander to worldliness, rather ponder on what lessons one can learn from the world. He takes the avatar of Sanat Kumaras to teach us how the Jiva-Atma needs to be in alignment with Paramatma. Internal order in order to experience that supreme bliss. He takes the avatara, the twin avatars of Naranarayana, in order to fix the disorders of Kama and Krodha and establish the order of a Guru Sishya Parampara. He takes the avatar of Prishni and appears before Dhruva to establish the law of divine love, bhakti. He manifests as Prithu. Prithu, the very word, means glory, great, abundance. And he ends famine on earth and teaches how to establish order that can generate prosperity and abundance on earth by introducing the practice of agriculture. He takes the avatar of Hayagriva, who is the very embodiment of jnana, and gives the entire body of all the Shastras, the source of all knowledge required for moksha. He takes the avatar of Matsya and demonstrates literally how to swim through the ocean of samsara. He leads Satyavrata and delivers him across manvantaras, and at the same time protecting the Vedas. He takes the glorious avatar of Kurma, reminding us that we often have this habit of making every molehill of a problem into a massive mountain. When we realize Bhagavan's Adharatva, every mountain-like problem would transform into a molehill. He takes the avatar of Nrsimha to dispel the disorder of fear, in order for us to become fearless. He takes the avatar of Gajendra Bharata, Hari, where he reaches out to his bhakta in order to protect him, to establish the supreme law of surrender, and to demonstrate that surrender alone renders success. Having recounted 14 avatars, Brahma then goes on and continues to summarize more avatars to Narada. Brahma then goes on to take up the next avatara, which is very special to all the Shastras. Across the Vedas and the Vedanta, the Itihasas and the Puranas, this avatara is held very special. Jyayan gunain avarajopi adite suthanam lokan vichakrama imanyat ata adiyajnaha shamam vamanena jagre tripadachalena yatyamrite paticharan prabhubhirna chalyaha. The glorious Vamana, Lokan Vichakrama Imanyat Ata Adiyajnaha. He is Adiyajnaha, Brahma says. He is the Purushottama. He surpassed all Lokan Vichakrama. He surpassed all the Lokas. One moment he was Vamana, the other moment he was a Trivikrama. He surpassed all the lokas of the universe. Therefore, he is Purushottama, he says. Uttama Purushastvanyaha Paramatme Tudasutaha. Yo Lokatrayamavishya Vipatti Avyayishwaraha, Gita says. Shamam Vamanena Jagre Tripadachalena. In the pretense of seeking 3 footsteps of land, Bhagavan, it seems, took back all the lokas back from Bali. Obviously, Bali was holding on to something which did not belong to him. So therefore, they had to be taken back. Jayan Gunair, Brahma says, the greatest in gunas, he says. Avarajo api, even though he is beyond gunas, he is full of gunas, he says. He is beyond the 3 gunas of Prakriti, but he is endowed with infinite Kalyana gunas. Jayam Gune Avarajaha Api Adite Sutana. Of all the sons of Aditi, he is considered the greatest when it comes to gunas. What is the greatest guna that he demonstrated during Vamana Avatara? A very, very special guna that Bhagavan demonstrated. When one helps another based on the formula of quid pro quo, one is considered an adhama. When one helps the other without expecting anything in return, he is considered a madhyama. When one goes on to help the other by belittling oneself, unmindful of dishonor to oneself, he is uttama. Vamana, therefore, is the Purushottama, the Uttama. He belittled himself for the sake of both Indra and Bali. At the same time, he managed to ensure to take care of the interests of both Indra and Bali. That is the reason why he is Uttama Purusha. So Vamanavatara is so very special because he restored once again order in the universe by taking back the rulership of all the lokas and handed it back to Indra. And at the same time, he also ensured that Bali Chakravarti's interests are also taken care of, and Bali is suitably rewarded by being given the post of Indra in the next Manvantara. Tubhyam cha Naradabrisham Bhagavan Vivruddha Bhavena Sadhu Paritushta Uvacha Yogam Jnanam cha Bhagavatam Atma Satvata Deepam Yad Vasudeva Sharana Vidur Anjasaiva Yad Vasudeva Sharana Viduhu. In the Gita, Krishna declares, Tesham evanukampartam aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayam yatma bhavastaha jnanadipena bhasvata, he says. To those who stay connected with me, who stay connected with love towards me, to those I shall ignite by the lamp of wisdom in their hearts and dispel all darkness within. Taking the avatara in the form of a glorious Hamsa. Hamsa avatara is an avatara where Bhagavan had to clarify the doubts of Sanat Kumaras, which Brahma also was unable to address. He taught all the sadhanas, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and also how to surrender. Surrender happens when one realizes Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha, as Krishna says, Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Yad Vasudeva Sharana Viduhu. Surrendering to Bhagavan by knowing the nature of reality. And in that process, as Hamsa, Narada was also taught the science of yoga and the art and science of supreme surrender to Bhagavan. Brahma then goes on to describe a list of very special avatars, not very well known, but very important avatars. Chakram cha dikshvavitam dashausvatejaha manmantareshu manuvamshadaro vibhakti dushteshu rajasudaman yadadhatsvakirtim satyetri prishta ushatim pratayam charitraihi. He talks about various manvantara avatars. Every manvantara we know has a Manu, Swayambhuva, Swarochisha, Uttama, Tamasa, Raivata, Chakshusha, Vaivashvatara, and so on. We also saw that how every manvantara, there is also an Indra appointed during every manvantara, at the beginning of every manvantara. What Brahma now says is, in every Manvantara, Manu has a lineage, a dynasty of kings. And in order to protect Manu and his dynasty during every Manvantara, Bhagavan takes special avatars. These avatars are called Manvantara avatars. Dushteshu Rajasudamam Yadadhatsvakirtim Satyetriprishta Ushatim Pratayam Charitehi, he says. Yajna, Vibhu, Satyashena, Hari, Vaikuntha, Ajita, Vamana, Sarvabhauma. These are all various Manvantara avatars. Every Manvantara, there is a special avatar. This avatara is specifically for protection of Manus and the dynasty of Manus. So Brahma says, in order, he not only facilitates creation through Manus, he also ensures that he takes avatars repeatedly to protect these Manus. These are Manvantara avatars. Dhanvantarischa Bhagavan Swayameva Kirtihi. Namnan Rinam Ururajam Rujwasau Hanti Yajnecha Bhagam Amritayu Avavarundha Ayushya Vedam Anushasti Avativya Loke. Ayushya Vedam Anushasti Avativya Loke. Bhagavan bestows a very important instrument to humankind. The Jivatma is gifted with a very special instrument called the body. This instrument is so very important, plays a very significant role in the journey of the Jivatma. Now, this instrument needs to keep working properly if the journey has to be smooth. If the instrument doesn't work, then the journey cannot be smooth. So Bhagavan, therefore, also ensures that he, by taking the avatar of Dhanvantari, Dhanvantarischa Bhagavan Swayameva Kirtihi. In his avatar of Dhanvantari, he cures all the ills, all the diseases. He says, Swayameva Kirtihi. Simply by chanting his Nama alone is enough. His Nama alone is the panacea, the cure-all. He knows that. Maybe few of us know that. While his Nama alone is enough, he also realizes that not everyone spiritually grows to such a state where one can survive only on his Nama. Therefore, he also ends up giving the science of Ayurveda, which is the cure for all kinds of diseases, all kinds of both bodily ills and mental ills as well. When there are bodily disorders, the instrument meant for sadhana becomes an impediment. The very instrument which has to facilitate sadhana becomes an impediment. So therefore, he has to address this disorder, bring order to the physical body. And Ayushya Vedam Anushasti Avativya Loke, the knowledge of curing all ills through Ayurveda. It is about long life. But what is very important to understand, long life is not about counting the years. It is about making the years count. Our Shastras definitely encourage us to pray and seek long life, no doubt. But long life is meant to be utilized in the right way. When the Shastras bless us, Ayu Kirtihi Prajam Daduhu, Ayu, long life is only for ensuring that we utilize the opportunity given completely so that we don't need to come back and live again in the cycle of samsara. So taking the avatar of Dhanvantari, Bhagavan addresses the disorder of physical and mental ills and gives us a body of knowledge through which these ills can be cured so that the journey can be smooth. The instrument can work the way it is supposed to work. Kshatram kshayaya vidinopavritam mahatma brahmadrik ujjitapatam narakattilipsu uddhantyasyav avanikantakam ugraviryaha trisaptakritva urudhara parashvadene. He takes birth as the son of Jamadagni and Renuka, popularly called Parashurama. Rama, son of Jamadagni, celebrated as Parashurama because he wields the Parashu, the divine axe. Kshatram kshayaya vidhinopavritam mahatma brahmadrik ujjitapatam. When those who are supposed to ensure that law of the land is followed, when they go astray from the path of dharma, when the ruling class, the Kshatriyas, are meant to protect the society. The role of a king, of a Kshatriya, is to protect the Brahmanas, the Vaishyas, and the Shudras, so that the society, there can be order in society. When Varna Dharma is followed strictly as per the Shastras, order ensues in society. When there is misalignment to Varna Dharma, there is total disorder. When Kshatriya, who is meant to protect others, start to become greedy, start to oppress others in the society, other Varnas in the society, disorder prevails. And that is the reason why Bhagavan, in order to teach a lesson to those Kshatriyas who turned astray from the path of Dharma, takes the avatara of Parashurama. He says, Brahma says, Trisaptakritva Urudhara Parashvadena. Trisaptakritva. Thrice 7 times. 21 Kshatriya Kulas were eliminated, uprooted completely. By wielding his divine axe, Bhagavan eliminated all the corrupt Kshatriya rulers in order to restore order in society. Asmat prasada sumukha kalaya kalesha. This is a very special avatara for all of us. A very, very significant avatara, a Purna avatara. Ashvat prasada sumukha kalaya kalesha. Ikshvakuvamsa avatirya guror nidesha. Tishtanmanamsa daitanuja avivesha. Yasmin virudhya dashakandara artimachati. The moment we hear Ikshvakuvamsa, it becomes very clear what avatara Brahma is talking about. Asmat Prasad. Brahma says, Asmat Prasad. In order to bless me, Brahma says, to demonstrate causeless mercy. Rama is celebrated as Karuna Kaputsa. He is the very embodiment of Karuna. Boundless compassion. Causeless compassion. Asmat Prasada Sumukaha Kalaya Kalesha. In order to demonstrate his causeless, boundless compassion to me and everyone downwards, Brahma says, to every living entity within this universe, Bhagavan, the ruler of all the Chetanas and Achetanas, he descended. How did he descend? He descended Ikshvakuvamsa avatirya. He descended in Ikshvakukula. the illustrious lineage of Ikshvaku. He descended in that kula. He took birth as son of Dasharatha. Guror nideshe tishtanvanam sa dayitanuja avivesha. Upon his father's command, he decided to drop everything. He decided to drop everything that belongs to him and went away effortlessly along with his consort Sita and his brother Lakshmana to the forests. Vedyam Vedagurum Virinchijanakam Vedantamurtim Spuratvedam Vedakalapamola Mahimadaranta Puram Vedashringa Samanasesha Sayanam Vedanta Vedatam Vedaradita Pada Pankajamaham Ramam Bhaje Shamalam. Ramam Bhaje Shamalam Vedaradita Pada Pankajamaham. It seems the Vedas worship Bhagavan's Ramachandra's lotus feet. Why do they worship Bhagavan's lotus feet? Because he walked and walked and walked and walked, reaching out to all his bhaktas. That is why he is Karuna Kakutstha. Boundless, costless compassion. The bhaktas did not go to him. He reached out. Walking all the way from Ayodhya, he walked every nook and corner, reaching out to all the rishis, reaching out to all his bhaktas, giving them his darshana and blessing them abundantly. And therefore, the Vedas worship his lotus feet, the divine feet, which walked and walked and walked all the way. Ravana Vada, Ravana Samhara is only incidental. Yasmin Virudya Dashakandara Apti Marachat. Ravana, who abducted Sita and therefore had to be punished. But Ravana Samhara is only incident. Between Ravana Samhara and abduction of Sita, what happened? That is so very significant. In the process of eliminating Ravana, Rama blessed so many bhaktas. Paritranaya sadhuna. First, he ensured that the sadhus are protected, and then only vinashaya shudishkrita. Therefore, the Vedas, Vedaradita Adapankajamaham Ramam Bhaje Shaman. The Vedas therefore worship his lotus feet that walked and reached out to all the bhaktas and abundantly blessed them. Such is the avatar. Brahma says, therefore, this is an avatar. He says, Asmat Prasad Sumukha Kalaya Kalesha. He says, this avatar is a prasada to Brahma and to everybody else, because this is an avatar that demonstrates costless compassion. And then Brahma goes on. Bhume Suretara Viruta Vimadditaya Klesha Yayaya Kalaya Sita Krishna Keshaha Jata Karishyati Jananupalakshamarkaha Karmani Chatma Mahimopa Nibandhanani Bhume Suretara Viruta Vimadditaya Klesha Yayaya Kalesha Sita Krishna Keshaha. When the whole world was overburdened by adharmic kings who were fighting with each other. All were adharmic. It was not that one was dharmic and another was dharmic. Adharma was exponentially growing. When the kings became asuri in nature and the burden of Bhumata was growing, Brahma says, Bhagavan takes the avatars. The avatar of Balarama and Krishna. Klesha Vyayaya Kalaya Sita Krishna Keshaha, he says. Sita Krishna Keshaha. Here he says, Balarama and Krishna with beautiful black hair. Jata karishyati jananupalakshya margaha karmani chatma mahimopa nibadhanani. Performs acts by taking his avatar as he performs as Krishna. He performs acts that are incomprehensible, he says. While Rama's actions are very easy to comprehend. With Rama's actions, Ramavatara, most of his actions are Manusha-like. Even Ramavatara, there are Atimanusha Cheshtitas, but by and large, he conducts himself like a Manushya. Whereas Krishna Avatara, it is extremely difficult to comprehend what he is doing. Incomprehensible, yet very blissful, Brahma says. Performs acts that are Atimanusha, which are incomprehensible, beyond our ken, but yet very blissful. And he demonstrates his matchless glories. Throughout the Krishna Avatara, he keeps demonstrating all his Kalyana Gunas. And this Krishna Avatara happens to be the crux of Bhagavata. And Brahma continues, says, Tokena jiva haranam yad ulukikayas traimasikasya cha pada asaka pada ashakato apavruttaha yad rinkatantara gatena divisprushorva unmulanam tvitarata arjunayorna bhavyam. He says, what is impossible, we think, seems to be very effortless for this little boy. Extraordinarily miraculous acts he keeps performing. Tokena jiva haranam yat ulukikayas. How is it possible for an infant to overpower a huge, humongous demon like Putana? How is it possible a 3-month-old to overpower Shakatasura? Yet Ringatantaragatena divisprushorva unmulam vitarata arjunayorna bhavyam. How is it possible for one who is crawling to completely overpower the Arjuna trees, uproot them to such an extent that they were thrown and they thrown into the sky with so very effortlessly? How is it possible? Extraordinarily miraculous. Krishna Avatara is filled with miracles. But what is important is, if one starts to analyze the miracles, one misses out on the messages. Every miracle has a message. Krishna's Leelas are very magical and are very fantastic. It is very important to also know that they are fantastic, but they are not a fantasy. We need to understand that Krishna's deeds seem incredible. Yes, incredible they are meant to be. That is the very purpose of Krishna Avatara. Rama Avatara is to show how to lead, conduct oneself as a Manushya. In Krishna Avatara, Bhagavan decided to show his transcendental powers, demonstrate his incredible glories, his unmatched prowess. He repeatedly demonstrates Atimanusha Cheshtitas and repeatedly shows that he is not an ordinary person. So therefore, if we say his acts are incredible, they are meant to be incredible. After all, he says, Mayadhyakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam hetunanena kaunte jagat viparivartate. Hey Arjuna, Mayadhyakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam. This entire prakriti is being run by me. I control it. Therefore, Krishna is not under the control of Prakriti. If Krishna's deeds seem to transcend the laws of nature, obviously the lawmaker can transcend the law, his own laws. And therefore, all his Atimanusha Cheshtitas are meant to be incredible and demonstrate his supremacy, his glories. Brahma therefore celebrates Bhagavan's glory. He says, Yadvai Braje Brajapashun Vishato Yapitan Alam Swajivayad Anugrah Drishti Vritsya Tachudaye Ati Vishap Vidya Vilola Jihvam Uchchataishyat Uragam Viharan Hrudinya Uchchataishyat Uragam Viharan Hrudinya. Uragam is a snake, the Kaliya snake. Uchchadaishyat Varagam. He taught a lesson to Kaliya, subduing the ego. Krishna had to put Kaliya in its place. In Krishna Avatara, Bhagavan had no qualms putting people in their places where they belong. In Rama Avatara, he was very subtle. In Krishna Avatara, he was not subtle at all. Kaliya misbehaved. Kaliya, overpowered by its own ego, thought it owns Yamuna. Bhagavan demonstrated that there's only one Swami. Demonstrating his Swamitva, he subdued Kaliya effortlessly and completely took the poison out of Yamuna. Therefore, by protecting all the Vrajavasis and all the cows of Vraja, and also demonstrating that except him, everybody else is only a servant. There can only be one Swami. Whether we like it or not, we are all servants. We may think we are not servants, but we are servants. We have only two options: to be servants of our own senses, our own body, our own mind, or servants of the one. We can only be one of these two. If we are servants of our body, senses, and our mind, we cannot be servants of Bhagavan, and that's the source of all our ills. The moment we gain freedom from our senses, body, and the mind, and we become Bhagavan's servants, that becomes the source of all joy and bliss. So therefore, establishing its Swamitva, Bhagavan subdues Kaliya. Brahma then goes on to say, Grinita yadyat upabhandam amushyamata shulbham shutasya natutat amushyamati yad shubhatos asyavadena bhuvanani gopi samviksha sankitamanaha pratipoditasit. When all the gopis complained to Mother Yashoda, it seems Yashoda began to tie Krishna. She thought she can tie him up to prevent him doing all his mischief. As she started to tie him, Brahma says, it seems she started to find out that the rope, whatever rope she used, is not enough. She found the rope to be always insufficient in length. As she started tying him, the rope became insufficient. She kept on tying, but the length of the rope was not good enough. And Yashoda was wondering what's happening. And it seems Krishna nonchalantly yawned. And when he opened his mouth, all of a sudden, Yashoda could see the entire universe. She could get a glimpse of this entire creation in Krishna's mouth. For a moment, Yashoda realized the truth just for a moment. But Krishna ensured that it was only for a moment. And the moment she came out of the trance of witnessing that glorious vision, she was back to normal, because Bhagavan wanted Yashoda to treat him as a very dear son and not to treat him as somebody else. Therefore, he ensured that Yashoda completely forgot whatever the vision that was presented to her. Such was Bhagavan's Yogamaya. Gopairmake pratihate vrajaviplavaya deve abhivarshyati pashun kripaya rirakshu dattochi chilindram iva saptadhinani saptavarsho mahindram anaghaika karke salilam. Mahindram anaghaika kare salilam. The Govardhana hill. Mahindram, here is the Govardhana hill. Anagha, Anagha Kare, Anagharika Kare Salilam. Effortlessly, he used it, uprooted it, and used it as an umbrella in order to protect all the Brajavasis. Again, demonstrating his Adharatva. In order to show Indra who is the real master, Krishna orchestrated all the events that led up to all the Vrajavasis praying to Govardhana Giri instead of offering oblations in Yaga, in Yajna to Indra. And when Indra, overcome by rage, tried to inundate Vrajabhumi, and Krishna decided to protect from the incessant rains for 7 days continuously. Brahma says Krishna lifts Govardhana and protects and gives shelter to all the Vrajavasis. Such is the glory of the Govardhana Giridhari. And then Brahma obviously cannot stop, and he goes on to give a whole lot of Krishna Cheshtikas. The entire 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is dedicated for Krishna Leelas, and therefore let us move on to look at the other avatars that Brahma tries to summarize. Kalena Meelita Dhiyam Avamrishyannam Tokayusham Svanigamo Bata Dura Paraparaha Avirhitas Tvanuyugam Sahi Satyavatyam Vedadrumam Vitapasho Vibhajishyati Sma. Vitapasho Vibhajishyati Sma. Vedadrumam, the desired tree of Vedas. Vedadruma is the desired tree of Vedas. Vedas are one body of knowledge. Whatever one seeks, this tree of knowledge rewards. I seek Aishwarya, I am rewarded with Aishwarya. I seek Kaivalya, I am rewarded with Kaivalya. I seek Bhagavad-anubhava, I am rewarded with Bhagavad-anubhava. Whatever I seek, the desired tree of Vedas bestows. Now, Vedavyasa, by taking the avatar of Vedavyasa, Bhagavan as son of Satyavati and Parashara, Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa. Vyasa is the one who classifies, codifies the Vedas. He takes the one body of knowledge, every Dwapara Yuga, and divides them. Why does he do that? Out of compassion again, because this one body of knowledge is too much for an ordinary mortal to study and practice. Therefore, in order to ensure that less mortals who have only a finite time available to them, in order to facilitate that they at least can partake a small portion of this body of knowledge, study, assimilate, and practice, he ensures that he classifies and codifies them. Vedadrumam, the desired tree of Vedas, Vitapashaha. By division of the branches, he divides them into multiple segments, and then he spreads this knowledge of the Vedas through various branches, various lineages, to various rishis. This is the glorious avatara of Vedavyasa. Devadvisham Nigama Vartamani Nishtitanam Purbirmayena Vihitavit Adrishyaturbihi Lokanganatam Mati Vimoham Atipralobham Vesham Vidaya Bahubhashyata Aupadharmyam. This is the avatara of Buddha. Devadvisham Nigamavatmani Nishtitanam. When those of Asuri nature, they become strong and they start to take over the Vedic rites and pollute their sanctity. When animal sacrifices are on the rise, malpractices of what is taught in Vedas are on the rise. Lokan Gnatam Mati Vimoham Ati Pralobham Vesham Vidaya Bahubhashyata Aupadharmyam. Brahma says he will be born to delude those wrong practitioners with his teachings of atheistic philosophies and draw them away from the misuse of Vedas. He says. In order to prevent misuse of Vedas, Bhagavan takes the avatara as Buddha, and he teaches Avaidika Dharma, he teaches Nastika philosophy, and he drives them away from the path of Vedas, from the misuse of Vedas. This is one way of ensuring that the disorder within the Vedic system is also dispelled. This is but what we need to understand here is this Buddhavatara is not the same Buddha that our current history textbooks talk about. This Buddha is the son of Anjana, born in his birthplace is Gaya, Bodha Gaya. This is many hundreds and years before Gautama Buddha, who was born in Lumbini as son of Mayadevi. Therefore, Buddhavatara is not Gautama Buddha, Anjana Buddha, son of Anjana, born in Bodha Gaya. Historically, we know that Gautama Buddha also visited Bodh Gaya, and that is where he attained enlightenment. So here, the Buddhavatara that Brahma is talking about is the avatara where Bhagavan Narayana took birth as son of Anjana in Gaya in order to ensure that he arrests the malpractice of the Karmakanda of the Vedas. Here then Brahma continues thereafter, Alayeshvapi satanna hare katasyu pashandino dvijajana prashalan hridevaha swaha swadha vasad iti sma girona yatra shasta bhavishyati kaler bhagavan yugante. Shasta bhavishyati kaler bhagavan yugante. At the very end, Shasta bhavishyati kaler bhagavan. In order to suppress the evil of Kali, Bhagavan takes the avatara as Kalki avatara. Thereafter, Alayeshvapi satamna hare katasyu. When, even in places of good, when Brahma says, the glories of Srihari ceases to be heard completely. Pashandino vijajana vrishalan yudehe. When atheists rule everywhere. When Brahmanas become Abrahmanas. When there is complete chaos and disorder in society, Swadha, Swaha, Swadha, Vashaditi, Sma Girona Yatra. When Vedic mantras cease to be heard, when no yagas and yajnas are performed anywhere on the planet Earth, then at that very moment, at that time, in order to suppress evil Kali towards the very end of Kali Yuga, Bhagavan takes the glorious avatara of Kalki, says. Thus, Brahma gives a comprehensive list of various avatars, a summary of all summaries. And he also says, between the 2 points of the manifestation of this whole world, which takes various forms and shapes and names, and the dissolution, he also manifests several other forms. He also manifests into several vibhutis. Sparks of his splendor manifest as his vibhutis for various cosmic functions, he says. Sargeta poham rishayo navaye prajesha sthanetha dharma makha manva dharma makha manva maranva vashavaniisha antetva dharma haramanyu vashasudaryaha maya vibhutaya iva purusha shakti bhaja. For the function of creation, Brahma is his vibhuti. For the function of his destruction, Rudra is his vibhuti. In the beginning, at the very beginning, tapas, the rishis, the prajapatis support creation. In between, dharma, yajna, the manus, the devas, the king support the created world. And at the end, adharma, atheists filled with anger, trigger the whole destruction. Thus he says how the cycle continues from the time the manifestation happens and the time the dissolution happens. And Bhagavan's vibhutis are unlimited, he Narada, Brahma says. I can keep talking about his manifestations, but his vibhutis are unlimited and it is impossible to list all his glories. And Brahma says, Maya varnayato amushya ishwarasyanumodataha Shinmataha Shraddhaya Nityam Mayayatmana muhyati. Shrinvataha shraddhaya nityam. Whosoever describes and listens to with faith, with utmost shraddha, any account on Bhagavan's Maya here is his extraordinary powers. Mayam varnayato amushya ishwarasya anmodataha. Not only describes and listens to Bhagavan's unlimited, matchless powers and splendor, his mysterious manifestations to glory, and also delights in doing so. Mayayatmana muhyati. Those who do so will not be overpowered by his Maya of Prakriti. Thus, Bhagavan gives a way out to Narada how to overcome the power of Maya. It is knowing Bhagavan's avataras, and it is through his avatara rahasya that one can get liberated from the shackles of Maya. The conversation between Narada and Brahma further continues, and there are further questions that are asked by Parikshit, to which answers are given by Shukha based on Brahma's exposition. And we are going to see in that exposition what is popularly celebrated as Chatushloki Bhagavatam. 4 shlokas of Bhagavata, a profound exposition of Brahma, which we will relish in the next session. Until then, Sarva Sri Krishna.